let's take a quick look at the project. And the project is found in your Cengage now. Here we'll take a quick look at the book and then we'll go into the actual Cengage now. If you go into the book, the project is Chapter 7, Payroll Project. The whole chapter is just one giant project. And so if you click on that, okay, you will see a bunch of instructions, page by page, gives you some information about the company itself, what kind of records we're going to be keeping. Here's their chart of accounts, there's a list of their employees, etc. So, and this was somewhat discussed also in the older video. Also wanted to show the forms that you'll have to do. Start at this 7-6. It says employees' earnings records, but that's not all that's in there. So if you click on that, it takes you to that section. And it starts out with the earnings records, which you do not need because the payroll software does that for you. But after you get past the earnings record, then you start with the actual forms that you have to fill out. So here's the federal deposit information worksheet, etc. And so you can fill these out, print them. So like this transaction number 24, you can bring that up and let's see. There is a way to print this out. Oh, just right from this main screen, you can hit print and print these out. Okay, you can fill them out. There's your various tax forms are all in there. Okay, so if you want to use those, that is fine. All right, under assignments, you will see the project itself, and you won't see this answer key stuff on yours. Let me, in fact, go here and change to student view. So, all right, so this is one that I'm using for the video. It says, do not use. Yours will say project. Okay, and yours won't have a lot of this other stuff that I had in here. So, when your very first one that you're going to see, up at the top, it's going to say project, and the very first one you see will say October 9th payroll tutorial. And so you'll click on, when you click on that, there will be this button that says open general ledger problem in new tab. So that's the software. So you'll click on that. Okay, and you get this screen. And so over to the right are your various instructions, your source documents. You can check and see your score. You can save what you're doing, and you can submit. So, and they will grade it for you. All right, so over to the left, there is the menu. If you click on these where the three bars are, there's several parts of the menu that are not open to us because we don't need them. We're not doing all the bookkeeping for this company, Globe-Bright Paint Company. We are just doing the payroll part. So we can get into company. You can get into banking because the cash account, the payroll cash account's in there. You can get into the general ledger. You can get into payroll, and you can get into various reports. And even then, a lot of the stuff you'll see is stuff we don't actually need. Okay? So you can do this little arrow up there, makes this smaller. Okay? And also this little arrow here can take away, they have instructions if you want to work just on the main work panel and have it large. Okay, so first you go through this instructions, and by the end of these instructions, you have the first payroll done because they're going to go through the October 9th payroll step by step, and as you do it, then you're done with that. So you cannot skip this step because then your October 9th payroll isn't complete. Okay? So this first instruction tells us make sure the system date, it says October 9th, which it does up here. It says October 9th. And we can change that if we need to. Okay? And they want us to go, the next instruction tells us to go to the general ledger amount, and that's this one here, general ledger, and to go to the account list and look at the chart of accounts. And so they have the chart of accounts here. So there's all our accounts. It tells us what kind of account, and it tells us the account number. Okay. And they remind us that this is just for a payroll. So they got a zillion payroll accounts and nothing else. Well, obviously an account. So for one thing, they do not have any do not have any revenue accounts. Okay, and so because payroll doesn't involve revenues. Okay, and then we can go on to the next instruction. Here you have to go in and add yourself as an employee. So I can X out of this one, and I need to go to the payroll module, it says, which over on the left is down farther. You'll go into tasks and maintain employees. And then you'll come down here where it says student, and you will put yourself in as your name in, and it should be capitalized for the last name, and then comma and small and regular letters for your first name. Do not change any of the address or anything else that's on here, just the name itself, and then say save. Okay? In the future, when you need to add an employee, you can click on add an employee. You cannot delete an employee until after the end of the year, because even if an employee only worked an hour on one day and then quit, that employee gets a W-2. So you can't delete employees, even if they're quit or otherwise terminated, but you can add employees. Okay, and then they want us to display the employee list. So you'll go under these reports and the employee list, and there it is. And it should show your name the way you put it in as being in there. It won't be alphabetical like the rest of the names because we all have different names, but it's down in there. Okay, you need to give me one of these employee lists for the dated as of December 31st. So you'll have to wait until you have all the October, November, and December payrolls done, and then you can, and here there's a way to print. You'll be able to bring this up and then print it out, and that will need to be submitted to me. Okay, okay, also they talk about these source documents. That's down here. So if you bring up a source document, and then there's the instruction, and then a source document tab. And so this shows what yours should look like, except of course they still have student in there, and you would have your name. Okay. If your name doesn't show up correctly, then you just go ahead and go back into tasks and fix it, and then save it, and then re-get up your list to show that everything is good. Okay, so now here's where they're starting the payroll transactions for October 9th. And it has to have the date October 9th, and we're going to start with check 672, it tells us. Okay, and it tells us there's going to be source documents to show what employees need to be paid. And so if we click on the source document, and we can move this down here, and you can see the names of the employees here, okay, and how much salary or what their rate of pay is. There's 11 instructions as part of this, so we can just step by step. So it says select tasks and pay employees, and we're in the payroll module. So tasks and pay employees, okay, and so you need to click on this where it says add, okay, and make sure the date is the date you want. So for us, that's October 9th, which is already in there. But when you go to do the next payroll, you're going to have to make sure to correct that to whatever that date is. Then you click on the down arrow next to select employee, and you choose the first one. And so if we look at this source document, it shows our employees, and it shows their salary for this pay period, and shows any of the voluntary deductions, the group insurance or the union dues that's going to be taken out of them. Now, no one has any group insurance taken out, but the union dues, Bono has $8 of union dues going to be taken out. And so we will, and he's an hourly employee, Bono and Ryan are hourly employees, and then you're an hourly employee. So we will go to this where it says regular hours, and we'll put in his 80 hours that it shows us, and then we'll scroll over, and it says for the union dues, we'll click on that, and that's $8.